on this test though. It looks like it's going to be 24, 29, 30, 31, 32, 38. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, let's start out with 24. So I'll get to page 850. In chapter 24 on page 850. All right, talking about vehicular crashes on the right-hand side of the page. They're classified traditionally as frontal. So you have to know the head-on, rear, lateral, rollover, and spins. So I know what each one is. Okay. All right, and then in relation to that, knowing what like types of where on your body, where would you traditionally more get hurt in a T-bone accident? And like on the side of if you got T-boned on the driver's side, you probably suspect a lot of left-sided, damage to the patient. Does that make sense? Okay, good. So know that. All right. Page 852. There's some bullets there on the right-hand side. Significant MOIs. So you got the death of the occupant in the vehicle. Severe deformity, intrusions, damage from the rear. So know those bullets. Page 847. Know what an index of suspicion is. If you look inside the car, you see a bent steering wheel. Well, it's probably telling me they just probably got chest injuries. Probably slammed into the steering wheel. So know what an index of suspicion is. Page 851. And that's kind of what we were just discussing. Under number 2 on the left-hand side of the page, towards the bottom of that long-ass paragraph. Common passenger injuries include lower extremity fractures, rib fractures. So know that little area right in there. Obviously, if your knees are going to go into the dashboard, your chest is going to go into the steering wheel, and your face is going to go into the windshield. So that's going to be your index of suspicion for a specific type of crash. Sorry, guys, my voice is. I've been just talking for the last couple of days. 863. Know about pulmonary blast injuries. So they're defined as pulmonary trauma. Know why and how it happens. And if you read down a little bit more, the patient may report tightness of pain in the chest. They may cough up blood, which is what? Hemoptysis, right? And have tachypnea or other signs of respiratory distress. Sub-Q emphysema. So that indicates air in the thorax. All right, so know all that about your pulmonary blast injuries. Eight, 5-8. Special populations. Number 1, significant MOI is going to be for falls of greater than how much? 10 feet. Or how much? 3 times the height of the child. So read down under and just underneath that, children are top heavy. They land on their heads from short falls. Know all that about that special population. 848. Know what Newton's law of inertia is. It's very simple, and you guys should remember that from high school. And obviously, motion stays in motion until acted upon by an outside equal force. That's under words of wisdom, halfway through the paragraph. They stay in motion until they are acted upon by an external force. That's part of Newton's law. I would remember that if I were you. 851. Know what the three collisions are. First collision is the crash. Second collision is the body crashing into the object. And the third collision is your organs crashing into the inside of the body. Know the three crashes. And that's all 850 and 851. There's 1, 2, and 3. Make sure you know those. And 854. Know about the airbag and why do you got to be really, really careful if it has not deployed? Left-hand side of the page, top of the page. We're talking about the airbag did not inflate during the accident. It may deploy during extrication. You may be seriously injured, so be very, very careful when extricating a patient. If there's no airbag deployment. Chapter 29. Page 1033. That's not the ones. Okay, mechanics of ventilation, left-hand side of the page. All right, so know the mechanics of ventilation. That's pretty much that first paragraph right there. When you inhale, what happens? Well, the intercostal muscles, they contract, they elevate and expand the cage. And at the same time, when the diaphragm's contracting and pushing the contents of the abdomen down, the pressure inside the chest decreases. I would really remember that part, that the intrathoracic pressure inside the chest does what? It decreases. This is all on inhalation, not exhalation. What happens when we take that first breath? Just the inhalation. We're not talking about exhalation. So the muscles contract, expand the rib cage, diaphragm pushes out, abdomen goes down, and the chest, pressure inside the chest does what? It decreases. 1045. Talking about rib fractures and what happens with rib fractures. Just read pretty much down to the second paragraph, almost to the end. They talk about what patients do when they have rib fractures. Well, they usually often hold the affected portion of the rib cage in an effort to minimize the discomfort. When they go to take a breath, they put their hand over the injury so that it doesn't hurt when they inhale. Because when the rib cage pushes out, there's pain. So it hurts to breathe. Oh my God, my throat is on fire. 1033. Ten thirty-three. All right. We're talking about anatomy of the chest wall. Trying to find it here. Oh, left-hand side of the page. At the top. A couple sentences down, talks about the esophagus. The esophagus, trachea, and great vessels lie in the mediastinum. So know what lies within the mediastinum. What lies within it? The esophagus, the trachea, and the great vessels. When I say great vessels, what am I talking about?
Aorta, superior, inferior vena cava.
Good, excellent, very good. All right. Do my lungs lie within the mediastinum?
No.
No, only those structures that we just talked about. 1047. Oh, know what commotio cordis is at the bottom of the page. You know what it is. It's a blunt chest injury caused by a sudden direct blow to the chest. It occurs only during a critical portion of the person's heartbeat. Did they explain this to you when you had your lecture? I don't even know who gave you this lecture. I think it was Chin.
He did.
Yeah. I mean, an example would be, a baseball being hit at, 80, 90 miles an hour into the person's chest. During the refractory period of when the ventricles are relaxing, it's a split second. It has to be like perfect timing, perfect spot, everything. And then you can actually put somebody in cardiac arrest with that. So know your commotio cordis. 1035. Signs and symptoms of a chest injury. There's a bunch of bullets. I would know them all. Important signs of symptoms of chest injury: pain, localized ascites, bruising the chest wall, crepitus, all that. Know all that. Be able to pick that out. Why is my battery running low? Hold on a minute. Stand by, guys. I don't want to lose you. Hold on. Here. Yeah, it looks like I did. Okay. Oh shit. Oh, okay. All right. Where were we? Signs of the chest injury. 1033. I seem to really like that page. Okay. What's the nerve that supplies the diaphragm? You guys know?
Phrenic nerve.
Phrenic nerves. Very good. I would know that if I were you. Know that they exit the spinal cord at C3 and 4 and 5, which is why if you break your neck in that area, you won't be breathing anymore on your own. And thus, you'll be on a ventilator. All right, 1041. There's your pneumothoraxes. I would understand what the pneumothorax is. Talks about, in this condition, air enters through a hole in the chest wall or the surface of the lungs, and the patient attempts to breathe, causing the lung on that side to collapse. I do believe I've went over that with you guys in the different types of pneumothoraxes. You can have air in there, you can have blood and air, or you can just have blood. And it doesn't become a tension pneumothorax until it actually starts pushing onto the other side. Know how to treat it. $10.39. Left-hand side of the page, second paragraph, talking about pertinent negatives. When examining the chest, pertinent negatives when examining the chest include no associated shortness of breath, no rapid breathing, no absent or abnormal breath sounds, and no areas of deformity or abnormal movement. So you would have to, write all that in your report. You'd have to put those pertinent negatives in there.